Thinking of moving to Gilbert, Arizona? Well, in this video, we're going to walk you through the town of Gilbert. We'll show you 3 different neighborhoods to give you an idea of different price points and see which one fits in your budget. And if you stick around to the very end, I'll give you one of the best kept secrets in Gilbert. When does that start? It starts right now. So if this is the first time to my channel and you like what you see and you want to know all there is to know about living in Gilbert, Arizona, or the Phoenix area for that matter, make sure you click subscribe as well as tap the notification bell so that you'll be sure to receive all our updates, because we do update these videos frequently and we go all over town. My name is Mark Phillips, and on behalf of everyone at the Curtis Johnson team and eXp Realty, I can tell you we get phone calls and emails each and every day from people just like you that are all looking for information about living in the Phoenix area, specifically what we're going to be doing here in Gilbert. So if ever you have information or you are curious, by all means, give us a call, send us a text, send us an email. In fact, all that contact information is in the description below, and we'll make sure that you get a smooth move to the Gilbert area or anywhere in Phoenix that you're headed. Now, I will say a little bit about Phoenix, and specifically in Gilbert, where we are today. Gilbert is a town that was, well, it was incorporated a long time ago, but when it really came of age was right around the time that I moved there. Actually, it was, I've lived in the state of Arizona for, let's see, I moved out here in 1982. So I've been here a while. And I will say that I built my first house in Gilbert. And this is back when Gilbert was pretty much just a little town out in the middle of nowhere. It was out in the East Valley, and really the East Valley hadn't really developed yet. I mean, there were certain towns like, let's say Mesa, Apache Junction, Phoenix, Paradise Valley, things like that. Now on the west side, you had Gilbert, or excuse me, Glendale and Peoria and whatnot. But out in the East Valley, there was really not much going on. In fact, let's jump over to a map so I can give you an idea of what we're looking at here. Like I said, Phoenix is right in the center of the state. In fact, if I zoom out, you'll kind of get an idea. You probably already know this, but here's the state, and here's Phoenix, kind of dead center. And as we're zooming into it, you can see that Gilbert is out in the east part of the valley. Okay, so it's down here. Now, where everybody wants to know is how far away is it from an airport? Well, the neat thing about Gilbert, you actually have 2 major airports to choose from. One of them is Phoenix Sky Harbor, right around in this area, and the other is Williams Gateway, and Williams Gateway is out in this area. Okay, now Williams Gateway used to be the former Williams Air Force Base. Okay, so they recently decommissioned the base, but they converted it into a commercial hub. And so you'll find certain airlines like Allegiant is a big popular airline out there, and a bunch of other smaller carriers. So if you're living in Gilbert, there's an opportunity that you won't have to drive into the Phoenix airport to get there. But if you do, what's the easiest way to get to the Phoenix airport? It's about 20 to 25 minutes away. And really, there's a couple of different ways to do it. There's the old way, let's say, that when I first moved out here, these are the only freeways that got you there. Let's say you're in Phoenix, you basically come out and you come down the 10 and you wrap around and you pick up US 60 and you come out US 60 and then down into the town of Gilbert. Now, I will say that just to kind of give you guys a general frame of reference of where Gilbert is. Generally speaking, this is, just a loose draw, but this is about what Gilbert is, give or take. Okay, so that's really where we're shooting at when we're talking about Gilbert. Now, what's the second way in and out of Gilbert? Well, at least from the airport, they developed this thing called the 202. Now, the 202 is a loop, and you can see it's a massive loop now. They finally finished it. Basically, it goes 202 all the way around. It comes down around the south side of Gilbert, and it used to be that it stopped at the 10. They recently continued it on, wrapping it around South Mountain and connecting to the 10. So it's a mighty big loop, as you can see. But the benefit of using it in this case is you're going to come straight out of the freeway, or excuse me, straight out of the airport. Now you could go up and down, this looks like it's a major highway. It's Highway 87, but it's a state Highway 87. So it's basically, as it goes through Mesa, between the 202 and the 60 is just a regular, several lane street, maybe 2 to 3 lanes. So it's not really it is a throughfare, but it's not one you really want to pay much attention to or spend too much time on unless you have to. What you would normally do is coming from the airport, you pick up 60. Let's say we live down in South Gilbert, let's say down here. Well, you could, again, go out 60 and then traverse south, but this is probably 4 to 5 miles between the 2 freeways. Okay, so the best way to go is you take the 101 south, pick up the 202 on the south side, and that way you can head back, come out it. Or if you have to come around, The neat thing about this particular portion of the 202 is that it's not very well traversed yet. The population with Gilbert, I will say that, well, just kind of give you an idea of the freeway development. When I first moved out here, like I said, I moved into Gilbert in 90, right around that time, or 91 rather, the population was right around 30,000. In fact, I live right here in the Bella Vista Lakes area, but that's how the freeway pretty much stopped right here, not much further out. Now it goes all the way to the other coast, but it's not, you know, it's pretty much, it's much more developed than it ever was before. But tell you what, let's, if we go back and a little bit more about Gilbert. Like I said, I moved there in 91, back when it was just cow pastures and farmland. In fact, when they built my house, they basically picked the cows up, took them further south, and put my house in. So that was a very common thing back in those days. Now Gilbert is pretty much fully developed. There's still a lot of farmland, but it's still very much a small town, even though it is grown much larger. Like I said, back in the 90s, it was around 30,000. Now it's ballooned up to 250,000, and it's suspected to go as high as 330, 340 in the coming years, as it is a very popular city in the greater Phoenix area. The East Valley has really come a long way ever since Intel has really taken advantage of the cheaper land, but at least back at that time. They have been responsible, in my mind at least, for the growth of both Chandler as well as Gilbert, as well as the entire East Valley as a whole. Other things related to Gilbert that you want to know about. Typically, the median age in Gilbert is relatively younger than a lot of places in Phoenix. When I say Phoenix, I mean, let's say Glendale or Peoria, Scottsdale, Paradise Valley, things like that. The East Valley, and specifically Gilbert, the median age is right around 36, 37 years old. The median income, and again, this is half above, half below, is right around $90,000 a year. But that too is climbing just because the cost of living is going up, as well as the traffic and all the other things. So, but I will say that Gilbert is a really neat part of town. It's really come a long way. In fact, the downtown area is one of the most recognizable changes that you've seen. I remember back when I built my first house, the main strip in the downtown area down on Gilbert Road was pretty much a couple of restaurants and Champion's Bar. There really wasn't much going on down there. In fact, I remember when Joe's Barbecue first went in, it was all the rage. And the cool part contribute to Joe's success is, well, frankly, they are still one of the best barbecue joints in all of Phoenix, in my impression. But all you saw at that time was maybe the Liberty Market, Joe's, Champ's Barbecue or Champ's Bar, and a couple of other random places on the main strip. So now if you go down there, wow, all kinds of bars and restaurants. We got Dirk's Bentley down there, you've got Sauce, you've got all kinds of different possibilities down in the Gilbert area that it's really were never there before. They really took a page from San Diego's playbook, downtown San Diego. They also took a page from Tempe here in the Phoenix area. Just redevelopment of the downtown, bringing bars and restaurants, creating a nightlife, creating a social events, things like that. So that's really what Gilbert has to offer in terms of family-oriented, fun stuff to do. There's parks, there's all kinds of different water facilities, things like that. And in the summertime, this is something that I just recently learned. I have a young daughter now. Well, she wants to go swimming all the time. Well, guess what? There's all kinds of, if you don't have a pool, there's all kinds of pools that all the aquatic centers at the high schools and whatnot, they open those up for the kids in the summertime. And it's like $6 a day. So it's nothing expensive, but you get to go and take advantage of a pool that someone else has to clean. So that's a nice advantage for us. Anyways, there's all kinds of cool stuff. Okay, so this is a little bit about Gilbert. What are we talking about in terms of housing? And that's really what this video is designed to talk about, is the benefits of the housing market in the Gilbert area. We're going to talk about 3 different neighborhoods, and in those neighborhoods, we're going to go and look at homes on the lower end of the price scale, let's say $400,000 or so, always up to over $1 million. So we're going to take a look at 3 different neighborhoods so you can get an idea of what it is you're thinking about and how it might fit into your budget to move to the Gilbert area. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and take a look at those videos, and we'll walk through the neighborhoods right now. Okay, well, welcome to the neighborhoods. This is the first of the 3 that we'll see in this video. We're here in Gilbert, And I will say that this neighborhood is anywhere between $400,000 and $475,000, which is on, I'll say, the low end of what's available in Gilbert. If you're looking to spend less than $400,000, Gilbert might not be the place for you, because there's just not a lot of choice out here in that price range, and that is including condos and townhomes as well as single-family residences. Gilbert has grown up to the point where it's mostly beyond that price point. It's not to say it's always that way, but generally speaking, it's going to be harder to find homes below $400,000 in the Gilbert area. This is a very nice neighborhood for the price point. As we'll see in the subject property, most of the homes in this neighborhood are between 3 and 4 bedrooms. Anywhere between, usually they're around 5,000 or 6,000 square foot lots. Some are bigger, some are smaller, but usually 5 or 6 is about the norm for this part of town. I will say the prices with Gilbert homes get less expensive, and again, that's a relative term, but they get less expensive the closer you get to the various freeways. This one being relatively close to this US 60. Now, it's not right on it, but it's closer to it. So as you progress closer to the freeway, the prices tend to go down a little bit. As you'll see in the other neighborhoods, when we get above 475, we get into the 550s, upwards of $1 million. You'll see they're far enough away from the freeway, but yeah, not too far. Now this neighborhood it's a very quiet one, which is nice, and that's a lot of it has to do with Gilbert. I mean, Gilbert is kind of very family oriented. It's always been that way, as long as I've seen it anyways, and I've been around for a few decades. In any case, this is our subject property right behind me here. And this one here is about 1,200 square feet, 1154, so just shy. On the market for $433,000. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and it is pretty much indicative of the neighborhood. If I just kind of give it a quick swirl around, kind of get a feel for what the neighborhood looks like and what it offers. Very nice for the price point. A lot of nice features, nice. It's quiet. It's not the communities that we'll see in the higher price points, and basically with the lakes and things like that, but it is still a very nice part of Gilbert. And one thing I have seen, Gilbert has really come of age in the last, 20 years or so. When I first moved out here in '91, it was a farming community. There wasn't much going on out here at all, in terms of there were a few homes, but not really much to support it. If you wanted to do anything, you ended up getting in the car and driving somewhere. Fast forward 20 years, it's really come of age to where now Gilbert is one of the sought after communities in the Phoenix metropolitan area. The home values, back in '91, I think I bought my house for $92,000. Now it's worth probably $450,000. So it's really come of age in that time frame. So, but this has been Gilbert on the, I'll say, the low end of the price spectrum. See if it fits in your budget, and let's take a look at the more expensive homes in this particular town, and we'll go on from there. This is 400 to 475 in Gilbert, Arizona. Well, here we are in Gilbert in the second of our neighborhoods. This one, let's see, we run in the range of 475 up to 550,000. The homes in this neighborhood are in the northern part of Gilbert, on their way closer to the US 60, a couple of miles south of it. Nice community, as you can see, very quiet. This particular neighborhood is nearby one of the lakes neighborhoods, but it's not in the lakes neighborhood, so that's when the prices kind of jump up a little bit, because you get that lake view that we'll see in the next video, that shows the higher price points up to $1 million. But like I said, homes here run anywhere between 475 and 550. In fact, our subject property, as we'll see in just a moment, that one is a 1,700 square foot 3-bedroom, 2-bath on the market for $5.25. So that's reasonably indicative of what's happening in Gilbert. Now, one thing I will say, these homes that we see in this video for Gilbert are in the northern part of Gilbert. And what that means is the homes are usually, they were built in the 90s. And if you want a newer build, then that's going to have you move further south. There's still freeway access on the 202 on the south side. Gilbert is definitely come of age in the last several years. So you'll get a lot of the newer builds that are going to be down there. Those are built in 2000 and whatnot, so a little bit newer than what you see in what I would consider old Gilbert. But this is kind of where we're at. So let's take a look at and kind of get this particular home. It shows you a little bit about it. Again, it's 1,700 square feet and 3-bedroom, 2-bath, which is pretty typical for most places in America, for that matter. It's certainly here in Gilbert. 3-2s are very, very popular. So you're going to find 3-bedroom, 2-bath in anywhere from, let's say, 1,500 square feet on up to over 2,200 square feet, give or take. I mean, certainly everything flows just depending on what your needs are, but that's kind of where we're at in this place. So this is kind of the mid-range, I'll say, for Gilbert. So let's take a look at the next segment, which is the higher end, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Okay, we have arrived at our final stop, and that is I'll say, the upper end of homes in the Gilbert area. This neighborhood, you're going to be looking at homes anywhere from $550,000 on up to $1 million. Now, are there homes in Gilbert that go over $1 million? Certainly there are. That'll be the subject of another video. Here we are, though, in the Islands community. And one of the things I would consider the Islands to be, this is my term, but I would call it old Gilbert. When I first moved out here in '91, I lived just to the east of here. And the Islands community was kind of new and special because here we live in the desert, but you'd never know it by this particular part of Gilbert. Every one of these homes, or darn near every one, backs up to water. As you can see in the pictures, as we'll see in our subject property, they all have spectacular views of the man-made waterways behind us. And so every home just about will back up, to the lake in somehow. Now, can you have boats on the lake? Yes, you can. Can you water ski on them? Not on this particular one. Now, there are water ski lakes that are man-made and just for that purpose, but not this particular one. This one is just meant for patrolling around and just enjoying the view and meeting your neighbors on the water. So homes in this range, you're going to look at a lot of the homes, as you can see kind of behind me and around, you'll see a lot of these homes are single story, which is nice because they are bigger homes. You'll see a lot more 3-car garages. In fact, the subject property that we have right here, this one is 4-bedroom, 3-bath. It's built in the 90s. In fact, all these homes in this area, like I said, is old Gilbert, or as I call it, old Gilbert. They were all built in the 90s. But that one in particular is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath. It's about 3,251 square feet. And it's on the market for $994,900, so just under the $1 million price range. And again, the biggest reason for that, in my impression, is the fact that it's got a killer view out the back door. Some places have pools and then the lake, others don't. So it's just going to be a matter of what the individual homes provide. But a lot of these homes are, like I said, single level, so you get the advantage of the entire space on one level. You don't split it between two. You do have spectacular views out the back for just entertaining or for relaxing or whatever you choose to do, but it's just beautiful. And in the lakes community, or in this case, the Islands community, both of them are very much the same concept, and that is they came into the desert, flooded it with water, and made an oasis in the middle of the desert for people to put homes on. So lots of cool stuff here. And one of the neat things about this particular community and where it's located is it's just south of US 60. So your commute, let's say you had to work in the Phoenix area, well, you just shoot north on either Val Vista or Gilbert or whatever, get to where you need to be on the freeway, and bingo, you're off and you're running. So you're far enough away from the freeway, but yet not too far. So very nice. This community, as you might suspect, in the upper price ranges, the prices are kind of keeping a lot of people from moving to this particular part of town, which makes for much more quiet streets, a lot less traffic. But again, Gilbert, because it is getting to a point where they're basically moving everything further south, and that's where you're seeing the new developments. Whereas in this part of Gilbert, like I said, the homes are built in the 90s, so you're starting, you're pretty much this is the original major development of Gilbert. Gilbert's been around for quite a while, but only recently did they start building homes and really go crazy with it. But they've done a really good job. I mean, Gilbert's one of my favorite cities. Like I said, I lived here back in '91, built my first house, and lived here for many years. So it's always very comfortable for me to come back to my old stomping grounds. All right, so this has been our tour of Gilbert. And so if you're thinking of moving here or anywhere in the Phoenix area, by all means get with me or my team, and we can certainly answer any questions for you and make sure you make that smooth move to Gilbert, Arizona, or anywhere in the Phoenix area. Again, my name is Mark Phillips, and I'm with eXp Realty. If there's ever anything I can do for you, hit me up in the comments below, or just shoot me a text, email, call me, whatever you'd like. I'll be here to help you, and I look forward to doing that. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your time, and I'll see you in the next video.